Okay, we've got all our speeds set. We're gonna we're now have our bit right up against it, maybe a thousandths or two. We're gonna do just a single pass across there to test it out, make sure we're going the right direction, because I'm always screwing up on that level. So let's go ahead and crank it up and see what we come up with. And that should be 12 threads per inch. I mean 16. Yes, that's traveling the right direction. Now, is it got the right amount of threads? Okay, while Patty's running the other machine, we're going to run this. I didn't have it set up totally perfectly, and so it ended up being about 14 threads per inch. So now I think I'm set up and ready to go. I put some Daikon on there so it would show, and we're set up, and we're going to start on an even number. Yes, that is 16 threads per inch. Okay, finally, after a day and a half, we're getting close. We still got another quarter inch to go, but at least we're closer. And so I reset the, you can see the little line around the perimeter there. That was my mark, and it's still about 10 thousandths off, but I think I can live with that. So we're just gonna finish this cut, come back, probably take another cut until we get a good clean up, and then we'll go back to cutting our regular 30 thousandths at a time for another 10 or 15 times. So yeah, okay, so we're down to our last cut, at least our last cut for the shoulder. And this particular cut is a spring cut, and that's how much the bar is springing. What does that look like? About 20 or 30 thousandths. So we're going to take one spring cut and maybe a second one, depending on the size, and see if we can get this thing to kind of clean up. So it's a slow process. Good morning. Nick Collier here. We're still at this project. It's another day later, and we've got the whole almost bored out. Probably another, I don't know, 100 thousandths, 150 thousandths, something like that. And once we get that board out, then we're going to take this thing apart, flip it around, and start working on this side. And between now and then, I have ordered another boring bar. Well, not a boring bar, but a piece of steel that I'm going to make into a boring bar, and that's a little bit bigger around. And I think it's going to be a little beefier, which will allow me to cut more faster, so on and so forth. So we're going to be doing that, and at the same time there's a project going on in the over on the Bridgeports. So let's do both of those and see if we can kind of keep up with it. Okay, I believe we're on our final cut. We've been just kind of sneaking up on this like nobody's business. I'm not going to wreck 2 days worth of work to just rush through this part. So we're down to about 600 thousandths before we get to the end. And we're getting very close. Okay, we've turned it off. Now I'm going to take it in by hand, the last couple of thousandths. Turn it off. Bring it back out. You can see we've got a little bit of harmonics in there, but you know, hey, that's a long way to reach, and that was pretty much all we had. So let's go ahead and take another measurement here and see what we've got. Come on. Well, I don't think we took anything off that time. What are we sitting at? We took exactly 1/1000th off. So we're going to make another pass, but because we need to get to 7. Let's see if we can do that. We're going to take 2 more thousandths. And that'll give us 4, and that's 6, and that's close enough. All right, one more pass. Let's put a little oil on it this time. Okay, so we're getting right down to the wire here. So I had to pull all the paint off of this this ram, and it turns out it's a machine surface, so that's great. So I can work with that. And so then basically what I'm going to do is find out what our size is. And we know it's somewhere around 4. I love when it makes that little squeak, because that tells me I'm real close. There it is. So we're sitting at, can you see it? I don't know. We're sitting 4 inches 1/1000th. And so in order to get a slip fit, and we want just a little bit more than a slip fit, so we're going to do, we're sitting at 4 inches 1/1000th, so we're going to do 4 inches 6 or 7. All right, let's do 7. All right, and let's go over to the lathe and take our measurements from that. Okay, so we've got that shoulder in there and everything's ready to go here, except that shoulder's pretty rough. So I think what I want to do is come in and go ahead and square that shoulder up, because it's going to sit right on top of that ram. So I can't do it and hold the camera at the same time, so you're just going to have to trust that I've done it. Okay, it's time to loosen this up and take it off. Let's see what we can do. All right, so now let's take this thing the rest of the way off. And we're going to put a block in here and a block out here to protect the ways. And maybe we can get a 2x4 in there. That should do it. Okay, here we go. Not bad. right, well, maybe we just need to slide it out. There we go. And it does weigh substantially less, of course. And I am a happy camper. I want to take it over and see if we can put that ram in there and see how it fits. So we'll be back. Okay, everybody's close. Now we'll pick up the ram and drag it over here. See if we can get it to slide in. Like it would live there. Nice. All right, let's put our ram back up standing. And what we have left to do is put this in the lathe so that this side is up and running, and go ahead and start cutting away at that side. And hopefully my larger piece of bar stock will come, and I'll be able to make a bit for that before I cut this next one, because that took way too long. So we'll be back after lunch or tomorrow or whenever we get back out here. Well, good morning, YouTubers. Nick Collier here, and today we're going to make a wrench. Basically, I made these big nuts for this project, and the last thing I want to do, you know, he's probably going to hand this over to his workers, and they're going to go out on the job and do whatever it is they do with this machine. And the last thing I want them to do is to grab this with a pipe wrench or, you know, some other object that's just going to chew it up. So I thought what I'd do is make him a wrench so that he could loosen and tighten this, and loosen and tighten this bolt. So let's get moving to make a wrench. Okay, well, this is going to be pretty easy. We're not talking about cranking this nut down super tight or anything like that. So what I did is I took a piece of, what is that, 1.5 by 6-inch bar stock, and or flat plate maybe, and made myself a couple of short pieces as the tongs, and then one cross piece, and then I'll come in later and weld something to the end of this. The wrench is only going to probably be about that long. We're not looking at a lot of leverage here. So we're going to weld that together and weld the lengthening piece onto that. And let's go over to the lathe and I'll show you what the next part's going to be. Now, I found an old piece of tubing, you know, thick-walled tubing that I'm going to be able to use. Let me just take it off and I'll show you what the plan is. It was pretty rusty, so we kind of just cleaned it up a little bit. And basically the bolt head will fit inside of that fairly well. And I think what I'll do is just go in and mill out 2 slots in here. Again, we're not looking at cranking this thing real tight. We're just kind of snugging it down. And we'll be able to throw that in the mill and mill out those 2 slots and go from there. For right now, we're going to spin this around and put it on and go ahead and clean up this back edge and chamfer that edge too. So let's go ahead and move forward with that. I mean, not like it's a big deal. Okay, because we need to get this thing off the ground, or off the vise, and we're going to cut a slot in it, we really need to have this set up so that, in fact, these lathe bits look a little wide. I think what we're going to do is get some narrower ones and use our lathe bits here. All right, this ought to give us enough space, and enough space sideways so that we can get our piece in there and get our bit in there and cut away. So let's see what we've got going here. I'd say that's going to be pretty good. I'm thinking we could take this in 2 or 3 cuts and we'll be set to go. And we're just going to find general center because once we get out to the edge, we'll know where we're at. A little bit better view from over here. Oops, although we're in the way of the handle. Okay, we're good. Let's turn you a little bit. Okay. How's that nut or the bolt gonna do? Almost. All right, let's take a little more off. Okay, we got it all cut out, but that one little area right there, and I think what I'm going to do is take it on the bandsaw and just go ahead and take off those 2 little corners. So, and then bring it back and clean it up a little bit. So we'll be back.